So I've got this crazy fact, is that 90% of people fail their diets, body transformation regimes, or exercise programs for exactly the same reason. They're bored. How many times have you quit because of boredom? I know I've quit a hell of a lot of times. Now, the interesting thing as well, this is the fact that I find really fascinating, is that when I consult with people, especially when we talk about nutrition, is that we find out that they've been eating probably the same meals on rotation for the past 10 years, 20 years, or maybe even 30 years. In fact, when it comes to research, is that 60% of people actually eat the same meals, same 7 meals on rotation every single week for years and years and years, but they never get bored. So what figures? What's going on here? There must be something else other than just this word boredom that we throw around. Now, I actually started off by actually trying to get a definition of what boredom actually is. And the definition actually is a feeling of weariness or impatientness because one is unoccupied, or because someone's lost interest in their current activity. Now, I don't quite like that definition. I actually looked back to all the times that I've used the phrase, I'm bored. So when I was bored as a kid, it was normally because I wasn't very good at something, or I feared judgment of not being very good at something, or I just lost my passion for it. I'd lost my focus. And this is something what I want you to contemplate today, is when you're using this word boredom, when you throw it out there, what does it really mean to you? And when you're talking about boredom when it comes to nutrition, what part of your nutrition are you actually bored with? Are you bored with the cooking and the preparation? Are you bored that it takes you a little bit longer? Are you bored with the foods? Are you bored with the tastes? Are you bored with the textures? Are you bored with the environments? Boredom can cover so many different areas. Now, as human beings, we require certainty, but we also require variety. And it's actually getting this balance between certainty and variety that really stops this whole idea of boredom in the first place. But what I want you to think about is that if you're using boredom as just a throw around term for disguising something that's going on a bit deeper down, is that you need to start looking at the things deeper down that are causing that boredom in the first place. Now, I actually put boredom down to focus. When we're trying to create new habits, we actually create habits in exactly the same way every time. We actually have to give attention to this new behaviour or this new action, but we have to have an intention as well. An intention is the same as a focus. So what is the focus? What is the reason why you're doing something in the first place? So what most people do, as soon as we announce the word diet or nutritional plan or any of these other terms, is we actually create an expectation for ourselves. There's an expectation in the word diet. It puts a stress on us, it overwhelms us, and that's really where a hell of a lot of boredom comes from, because the thing that our focus goes to straight away is punishment and restriction and sacrifice and all these sorts of things. So if your focus has suddenly gone on to your food in those sort of terms, it's really no wonder you're going to start getting bored of it, right? Because your focus purely the whole time goes on, oh, I've got to sacrifice this, or I've got to restrict this. And of course it's going to get boring over time because it doesn't go with the whole concept of freedom. And the whole idea of getting freedom in your nutrition is really what's going to get you that momentum in the first place, what's going to get you that consistency, and what's going to build that confidence because you did what you said you'd do. So when it comes to throwing the word boredom, first of all, try and explore, what are you actually bored with? And how much does your new plan or this new regime that you've put yourself on actually differ from your old one? Is there too much change too soon? Well, that's cool. You're overwhelmed. That's not a problem. Just go back a step. Make it simpler. Stick to something that you can actually stick to and enjoy, where your intention can be on excitement and making new changes in your life that's going to benefit you in a whole load of ways, rather than restriction and punishment and sacrifice, because your intention is always going to be in the wrong place. And as I said at the start, when I was bored, I always was in fear. I was fearing what people would say. I was fearing that I wasn't good enough. I was fearing all of these things. And this comes the same with your nutrition. Put your focus in the right place and you'll find that boredom disappears. And when boredom disappears, you'll find the whole process a hell of a lot easier. It's no surprise that every single successful transformation I've helped someone with, including my own, is that most people do not think about food. Not in the sense that I see so many people struggling with anyway. Is that when I was changing my diet regime, when I lost over 100 pounds, is that I never focused on the food. I was always focused on the result or the exciting part of it. I wasn't worrying about what I couldn't have, I was worrying about what I could have in my life. And that's how I want you to start looking at nutrition yourself. So my friend, you are not bored, okay? Stop throwing that word around. You just need to change your focus, change your intention. What you focus on, you become. So if you're focusing on restriction and punishment, you're going to feel punished and restricted. But if you're focusing on this whole new life that you can have, this excitement, what this small change in your nutrition is going to bring, well, what are you going to get? Excitement. Boredom doesn't have to be complicated. So Scott Marsh, the Mind Body Mentor, out for today, and I hope this helped in some way.